Okay, it's 9:05 and we've got 30 folks in the room, so we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome if you're joining us for the first time. It's a beautiful day here in Jackson, Mississippi, as you might be able to tell from the sunshine that is raining down upon me. This is day two of the ArkLaMiss Marketing and Audience Development Conference, brought to you by the press associations in Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee. So we're glad to see a full room of folks here to join us today. A reminder, if you would, I think most of you are, but if you would stay muted when you're not speaking so that we can control background noise and feedback problems, we would greatly appreciate that. But we don't want you to stay muted for the whole time, particularly during this next session. We want you to share your ideas and ask questions during this upcoming session. As I said, it's a beautiful day here. I hope it is where you are too. I want to give my apology to our friends in the Eastern time zone for not clarifying that we are in the Central time zone here. That created a little bit of confusion this morning, but that's a new problem for ArkLaMiss to have. So, and it's a good one. We're glad to have you folks in Eastern Tennessee with us. The Hot Ideas session, let me just say, we're going to move into the Hot Ideas session here in just a few seconds. And then our good friend Peter Wagner will be back at 10:15 Central to present his second program of the conference. And once Peter is done, we will have a chance for any parting thoughts that anyone might have, or questions for anybody that's participating or any of the presenters. Now, how the Hot Ideas is going to work, those of you who have attended ArkLaMiss in person know it is well worth the cost of getting there. This year, it's just the icing on the cake because you didn't have to pay to get to Vicksburg. But what's going to happen here is we're going to call on folks to present ideas for promotions and building revenue and readership. And after the conference is over, we will send out a survey to all of the participants so that you can vote on your favorite idea. And the grand prize winner will receive a $250 gift card. Second place will receive a $100 gift card, and third will receive $50. The survey, we'll go back and compile notes after the conference, so you'll probably get the survey sometime over the weekend and certainly by early next week. And once we have a winner, we'll let everybody know. Now I want to introduce to you Dennis Dunn, who is Director of Operations for Consolidated Publishing and the Anniston Star in Alabama. He is a longtime friend and presenter at ArkLaMiss, and we are pleased to welcome him back today virtually. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back, even if it is virtually. We've missed a lot of things as far as the fellowship last night and breakfast, but I'm glad to be here. And I've always had a lot of enthusiasm for the hot ideas. That's always been the way that I've been able to justify being at a lot of the meetings. So this is unique. So I haven't done this before, so it's going to be a little different, I think. But I think all of us have had to adapt the way that we've operated and the things that we've had to do in our business and travel and interaction with other folks in our newspapers and in our communities. So you know, we've had to make a lot of changes ourselves, and you know, maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. But I'm really interested in you know, what everybody else is going through as well. So that's what's so important about these meetings, is we don't always get to get together like we have in the past. So I'm real excited about hearing what's been going on the last 12 months at a lot of the newspapers. I'm glad to hear that we have some of the other states that are participating in Alabama and Tennessee this year. So I know that we're eager to get into some ideas, and I know that we've had some folks that have volunteered to get things started. But if somebody wants to jump in there, just go ahead and give us your first hot idea. If not, I'm going to call on somebody. Well, then I'm going to call on somebody then. We've got some ideas that that Paul Keane has forwarded. And Paul, I was wondering if you might talk about some of the ideas that you forwarded to us.
Well, thank you, Dennis. One of the things, we don't do this every summer because we feel like it would lose its luster, but we do from time to time a thing called Dog Days of Summer promotion. And you got to follow me down the rabbit hole on this because I'm not sure how many beers I'd had whenever I thought this promotion up, but it works pretty good. You go and you buy a box of large milk bone dog biscuits for each of your sales reps. Then you number them, right? Just with a marker or a piece of tape, you put a number on the back of the milk bone. Then you put it into an opaque container where nobody can see what the numbers are. You correspond the numbers with certain discounts like 5% off your ad, free color, and get one of the numbers that's a really big prize, like a free half page ad or a free color, a free full page ad, whatever you feel like you can handle. You send your ad reps out all during the month of July, or you can do it in August. We found it works better in July because then it doesn't interfere with our football preview sales. If they buy an ad, then they get to pull a milk bone out, whatever number is on the back, it corresponds with the discount that they get or the added value that they get to that ad. And we've seen that it's helped our July sales whenever we do that.
Wow. All right. Do you have any numbers or percentages on how it helps you?
No, because we didn't do it this year, obviously, because of the pandemic and everybody was running scared. But we'll usually see, July is a really bad month for us traditionally. And whenever we do it, we'll see, 25, 30% increase in advertising revenue. The advertisers look at our ad rep like she's crazy. Some of them want to keep the milk bone. That is one thing. Get the milk bone back from them because you want to be able to reuse it. But it's been a really good program for us.
Now, Lane, I don't know that we said this, but are people able to ask questions?
They are. They can unmute themselves and ask a question, can jump in, or they can type it into the chat feature, and I will monitor that for you and pass them along.
Okay, very good. All right. Paul, did you have another idea?
Well, we talked about it last year with the video that we do, and with the COVID, we found that that's even more valuable. We ended up live streaming 2 of our graduations, one for the private school over in Waynesboro and one for Franklin County, a paper that we purchased last year. And then we did a tape delay of the parade that the high school over here did. We pre-recorded the top 3 speeches and then did a parade. But if I can brag on our location in Meadville, we did graduation. The school district offered to pay us, and we said no, we'll find a sponsor, and they helped us find a sponsor to cover all of our costs and give us a little profit. But in a county of 83 or 8,100 people in the entire county, we ended up, between our website and Facebook Live, we ended up with over 6,500 viewers, which just kind of astounded us in there. And we found that with COVID, you can do a lot of things. And I know a lot of papers don't do like we do with the broadcast, but now with Facebook Live, especially if you can figure out an easy way to plug in a commercial, you can do a lot of stuff. One of the things that we're going to try to do is a Wayne County Home Shopping Network, where we go around to these merchants and we actually do, they can buy a 15-minute live commercial, a 30-minute live commercial. We'll tie it in with ads into a special section. We'll go ahead and do the live remote, you know, just like radio stations do a live remote, try to get them all done in 1 or 2 days, and then download them from our vendor. And then on Thanksgiving Day, or well, the night before Thanksgiving, compile them all together, put them on our Facebook page, put them on our website. So that way during Thanksgiving, when all the men are watching football, the women can go and watch these infomercials, for lack of a better term, flip through our special section. And then on Black Friday, they can go see our local merchants and hopefully spend a lot of money and help these local merchants dig out from under the COVID issue.
You haven't done this before, have you?
No, this is a new one. This is a new one. Actually, it came about, we were making some adjustments with our broadcast and trying to get it to marry up better with Facebook Live. And our daughter just put a website where she was buying some things that she could not buy locally. She normally does shop locally. And we actually ended up with that little test, that little 10-minute test, we ended up with 53 viewers watching a screen, and one of them commented, said, "Hey, we've got our own home shopping network." And that's how we came up with the idea.
Wow. I love that creativity, especially in the new world that we find ourselves in, that you're able to tie that together and use the lack of being able to be out and about online. That's an awesome idea.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Paul? Okay.
I have one,
Yeah.
Dennis.
Yeah,
What software programs does he use to manage his videos and edit his videos?
Okay, we use for our pre-recorded or our like our highlight show or preview show, you can go on our website and watch our plays of the week. Our website is thewaynecountynews.com. Got to put a THE in there, or else it goes to a website in West Virginia. But for those, we'll use just iMovie, which is a built-in program. Well, on the older Macs, on the newer Macs that we bought, you actually have to go and go get it, but it's not very expensive to get. For our live broadcast, we use a company called Blue Frame Technology, okay? And then they load the program, which is called Production Truck. They load that into your computer. They're really good about helping you out any way that they can. We've been with them, I guess, 5 or 6 years now, and they have full graphics packages. You can do all kinds of stuff, scoreboards, instant replay, plug in your commercials as you're streaming. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, my wife is over here setting up right now for our broadcast tonight. And we would, we welcome anybody to watch it tonight on our website, just to see what we do. They charge us about $1,000 a year for unlimited HD broadcast. So you can recoup your investment really, really quick. And anybody can use them. And like I said, they've been very good. And I've got something from Michael Floyd. Can I type in the name of the software here? I'll type in all the information on chat.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's an exciting idea there. I love that one.
Dennis, we have a volunteer from Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
Okay. Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey,
Hey,
Karen.
how are you?
Good. Got an idea.
Yeah, we have a couple of, we did a couple of small promos that were kind of COVID related early on. One of them, the first one, I admit, is a stolen idea from another nearby paper. Basically, all of our super tiny advertisers, our little mom and pop shops, suddenly said, we can't spend any money. We're barely hanging on here when we had sort of the closures. What we did was we got a large company to sponsor 2 full page ads 1 week after the other. And they got a banner across those pages saying that the page was sponsored by co-sponsored by them and the paper. And we gave free small ads to all our local businesses. Just saying, hey, we're still open, we're doing drive-through, whatever message they wanted to send to the community that they really couldn't afford to advertise because of the business losses due to COVID. This was very early on in the COVID thing. So we were able to make some money off the sponsor and also help our small advertisers who were really struggling at the time. And it kind of helped us continue that relationship with them, even though they weren't in a position to spend at the time. And as they've come back a little bit in more recent months, they've been much more receptive to talking about advertising with us. So that was a helpful one. The other one, a lot of these larger corporations, we don't have very many of them. But a lot of the ones that we do have some money for charitable efforts. We worked with a local bank and they basically paid for a month's worth of full page ads. They paid half and we covered half. And we promoted a local charity, Helping Hands, which was collecting food and money and selling T-shirts to try to be able to feed those in need who've lost jobs as a result of COVID, and local families who were struggling. So we partnered with them. We were able to make a little money and also do good for our community in the process.
So as far as the ads that were on the page, were they promoting the business or just sending out messages to the community about hang in there, encouraging people, or did they actually put ads in there?
Well, they were more just hey, we're still open, or we now have curbside service. So some of them were just kind of hang in there. It kind of depended upon the business. We only gave them a really small space. It was kind of like a business card space, and we did one set of small advertisers 1 week and another set the second week, so that we kind of spread it around as much as we could. And like I said, it was actually Tyson Foods that sponsored the pages with us. And they, at the time, I know a lot of the meat packing plants and stuff were an early focus during the COVID crisis. So they were looking for a little bit of positive, a positive opportunity in the communities as well. So this kind of worked for them also.
That's a win-win-win because those advertisers will see the power of advertising in your paper too. So when things get better, maybe they will put an ad in the paper.
Correct.
Karen, I know who you stole that from because I stole it from the same person, and it was really popular over here in Waynesboro.
Yeah, I mean, why reinvent the wheel if somebody else has a great idea? That's why we're all here today, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay. Any questions for Karen on these ideas? Well, awesome. Those great ideas. This is awesome. Let's see here. Stephanie,
Yeah.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. I understand you got some ideas.
Yeah, and this is also related to the pandemic breakout. Back in March, we had our local community foundation put together a program where they had someone who would donate $10,000 if the community foundation could raise a match of $10,000, and then they would put that into a rapid response COVID-19 grant for nonprofits in the area, specifically food pantries, to kind of beef up their inventory for folks that were, for kids that were out of school and not getting fed, and people that were laid off and having a hard time. So I offered a subscription offer to folks where if they bought a new subscription, $15 of each new subscription purchased would go towards that match. But the only caveat was it had to be a new subscriber. So it wasn't, it couldn't be a renewal. I didn't want to cannibalize that, but it worked really well. I was able to increase the subscriptions by about 10% and then make a nice contribution to the community foundation, and the community feedback on that effort was really good.
Wow.
Hey, Stephanie, I should have asked everybody at the start when they jump in to say who they are and where they're from, because we have a lot of first timers in the room today.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with the Leland Progress newspaper based in Leland, Mississippi.
Now you also, did you advertise that in the newspaper as well?
I did. I advertised it in the paper and on my social media pages.
Just seems like a great way to reach into the community during hard times and let people know that you're trying to help out. Now, did all of the $15 for the new subscriber go to the matching grant?
Yeah, I took $15 out of each subscription, and it went
Wow.
to the grant.
Wow, nice. Any questions for Stephanie on that? That's an awesome idea as well. Okay. All right. More ideas? And any other ideas, Stephanie? Anything?
No, that's kind of
Cool.
it.
Sorry. Okay. Do we have some more ideas?
Dennis, if somebody doesn't jump in here, I'm going to direct you to Winona, Mississippi.
Winona. Okay.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
We can.
Yes.
Okay. I've actually got two that I wanted to share.
Tell us who you are, Amanda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Amanda Ferguson. I am with the Winona Times and the Conservative in Central Mississippi. In March, when everything shut down, everything shut down. I mean, pretty much the newspaper, the banks, and some, any store selling food were about the only places that were open. And so we had issues getting news. We had issues with advertising, everything. And so a lot of, what do they say that, people, they're the Easter, Christmas church people. And since Easter was right, the 1st of April, we knew that, all these people were not going to be able to go to church as normal. Some children, that's the only time of year they go. And so we decided, and I'm going to share my screen with y'all, we decided to do a Easter coloring book. And what's kind of interesting about the Easter coloring book is that my sales rep was actually out on quarantine when she sold this. And she did it from home, and she and my graphic designer put this together, the two of them together, and we did about $2,300 worth of non-traditional advertising with this, because the churches actually purchased the banners on the bottom, and they used it as a place where they can show where they would have their virtual services for Easter. And so it told the entire story of Holy Week. all the churches got to, put all their information. And this is, churches they only advertise usually special events, except, on the church page. But this was something, and the coolest thing about this is that we printed extra, so that churches that participated could send them out in packets to their youth. And then we had teachers come up to the office and get the returns, any of the returns that we had left, and they sent them home with their student packets for the schools. So I don't think we have any of these left at all, not even to sell again. But it was very, very successful. So that is one. Does anybody have any questions?
How many of those did you print?
We printed, our circulation is 4,200, and we printed 4,500. And we distributed, some of these, like, I'm looking at Baden Baptist Church, they have a huge youth program, probably 200 kids. And so they got, they did like Sunday school packets where the schools were doing packets and sending them home. And they sent them out to all their kids. So, but the parents as well, you could, it shows where you can tune in. This one was that they aired it on the radio station. They did YouTube and Facebook. So it showed everybody how they could actually see Easter service from home as well.
You just printed it on newsprint, Amanda, or did you print
I did. And newsprint is great color material.
Okay.
It's really nice coloring paper. So my child loves it.
We were fortunate that Amanda shared that idea with some of us sister papers, and we did it as well. Incredibly popular with our community, and obviously successful as well.
And we had people that emailed and thanked us for doing it. And so but it was more of a community. It was more of a community service thing because, like I said, around here, going to church, especially on Easter, that's a big deal. We were even advised not to do like a drive around Easter egg hunt and everything because, the sheriff was like, I don't think that's a good idea. So this was about all we could do. And of course, this is right after the quarantine happened. So, I'll be glad to send this to you. We are going to do it again next year, and I more than likely will just use the exact same art. So, but I'll be glad to send it to any of y'all.
Is the cover a slick, or is it glossy?
It is. It's on. We're a Berliner, and it's on Berliner size paper.
Okay.
So, but I can send the PDF, and like I said, I can send the art to anybody if y'all like to do the same.
In Kosciuszko, we're actually thinking about maybe doing one at Christmas time too, since things are still not quite normal. We'll see how that goes.
We're looking at that too. I think that would go over really well. The people really liked it. So, okay, I've got one more idea, and it actually was really successful. We had one of our private schools, the cheerleading squad used circulation from us to, they sold subscriptions for us as a fundraiser. And we gave them 50% of the proceeds from it. And we had about 75 total, and I think 60 of those were new starts for subscriptions. And, of course, they sold it to their parents and grandparents, and, the private schools, every kid plays every sport, and I know the cheerleaders plan on doing it again next year as well. And I've got a Boy Scout group that wants to do the same thing. So that turned out to be a really, really good circulation drive with no effort from us as well.
Well, you printed up all the material for them, right?
I did. I have got a spreadsheet where you can fill in. Some people paid on PayPal, and they just put, you know, Carroll County Cheer. It was very easy. We have a flyer and a spreadsheet, and they sent it out, and you know, it was shared all over Facebook. I mean, it was a nice little fundraiser for them. They made way more money doing that than they would selling candy bars or popcorn or wrapping paper or whatever.
Yeah, any of those groups at the school, that's a good thing to approach. I've done it with marching bands before, just because there's a lot of people in the marching bands, but that can be a very good fundraiser for them.
If you want a quick turnaround in the summer, whenever all those all-star baseball teams, they have about a week, maybe 2 weeks to raise money to pay for their tournament costs. And you can make it real quick hitters, you know, that are like a 1 week, 2 week turnaround. And there are a lot of all-star teams.
I have a question. How much guidance do you give the students when they're selling about, you know, do they actually promote benefits of subscriptions, or do they just say buy one of these because we're raising money?
The flyer has the information, you know, all the stuff that you get with the newspaper. But honestly, you know, they're supporting their child, and first of all, the paper covers all of the events at the school, all the sports, all that stuff. So they're going to benefit from the paper as well. I think that was kind of the sales pitch. You know, you can see all the school news every week. And they do, you know, that particular school does a school newspaper that they insert in our newspaper once a month or once a quarter. So it's also distributing their own school newspaper. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Was this a 1 year subscription or?
It was a 1 year subscription.
Okay. Because your weeks.
They've already scheduled to do it again next year. So.
Right. Okay. Any other questions? More ideas? Lane, have we got any more volunteers?
No, sir. Everybody's being shy at this point.
We have one for you.
Okay. And your name?
This is Lori Freeze and Rusty Frazier with the Stone County Leader in Mountain View, Arkansas. Okay. And we have ongoing, we're working on an archive project. It's a 2-stage project. Our newspaper goes back to 1952. And we've been wanting to do our historical archive and make it accessible for a long time, but it's in bound copies and it's been very expensive what we've been looking at. But we've found out that our state archive has all of our issues on microfilm, and they, you know, we had to pay them, but they will put those on PDF. They converted them to a positive, right?
Yes, well, we got the microfilm, actually.
Yeah, they converted the microfilm to a positive format, and we sent it to Hogan Sons Bindery, which does our bound copies. And they are making PDFs, searchable PDFs, and we have 2/3 of this stage of the project done. We have thumb drives with our issues up to 1980 something. And now we're going to be working with a vendor to make those accessible and searchable, and we're using it for a added value as a subscription benefit. We're going to offer that access free to subscribers, and they can go back through our archives and search for family things, family history, whatever it is they're wanting to look for. So we hope that helps secure the subscribers we already have, and we'll add more.
Are you going through any of these other search companies to put your newspaper in searchable text on that, and does that translate to any money for you, or where they pay you something, or?
We haven't looked at that yet. We're strictly wanting to make it accessible to subscribers at this point.
It'll be on your website?
Yes,
It'll be
behind the paywall.
yeah.
Behind the paywall. Okay, there's the money.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Any questions or more information, Lori?
Well, I was just gonna say, because we offer a, one-time access, you can pay $3 and get a one-day access to our website. So if you want to just look for a rental house or look up somebody's obituary or something, you can do that in one day, find what you need. So people will be able to do that too. So someone that's doing some research on family history might, buy short access, or they might subscribe so that they can log in anytime.
Can you talk a little bit about the costs of the process you've been through?
Rusty.
Yeah, so far we're into it about $7,000. We had to pay the state archives to duplicate the microfilm, and that was a kind of an expensive little deal. And we still, Hogan Sons, we still have some costs with them. I'm going to say we're going to be probably about $12,000 into the project when we get finished with it. But you see, that cost is going to vary considerably depending on how far you go back with your archives. And like Laurie said, we go back to 1952. And my Lord, when you look at the massiveness of all those bound copies that we've got in these great big bookshelves, you can see why it gets kind of expensive. However, that's a one-time cost. And we kind of believe in added value things for our subscribers. And that has worked out. We do classified ads the same way. We give free classified ads to our subscribers. And that's, of course, a big benefit. And as a result of it, we've been doing that for years. And we have 5 or 6 pages of classified ads. And the point that a lot of folks don't get, particularly our bigger chain papers, is they say, well, you're losing all that revenue. Well, no, we're not. We get all kind of classified display as a result of the readership generated from that classified, and people buy the papers just to get the classified section. And it's a very powerful draw.
That's a great idea. You didn't even know you were presenting another idea, did you?
Well, it's two for one there.
We've been doing that for so long, it doesn't seem like a hot idea to us. It's something that worked, and we were able to do that and beat the Facebook and the Craigslist wave. People are trying now, to offer free classifieds, maybe it'll work and maybe it won't. But we have that established base already, and that's been a key for making that work.
I really like that idea of connecting your subscribers to your classifieds too. So I think we miss a lot of that.
We do restrict what they can run for free. It can't be a business. It can't be someone who has a kennel and sells, raises dogs and sells them. It can't be a business related. It's got to be a yard sale, or, you can sell your house, 30 words, we limit words. So there are limits on it to keep it reasonable.
Yeah. Well, great.
But having said that, we still have 5 or 6 pages of classified.
Yeah. Well, if they're advertising one thing that's free, then maybe they pay for the next thing that does advertise their business. Yeah. More questions? More ideas? Peter?
It's interesting you called on me because I was just going to jump in.
Yeah, you told me if we get a slow spot to call on you. So you had some ideas?
I just got a report from our sales manager a couple of minutes ago on the computer. A few years ago, we decided to put together a mass set of pages of pictures of veterans of any American conflict. And so we invited families to send us photos of their husbands, sons, cousins, doesn't matter who it was, that served in a military conflict, with information about what war they were in and what service they were in, and if possible, the picture in the military uniform. We amassed these across a page, maybe 50 of them, 40 of them to a page, and sold support ads at the bottom. You never sell signature ads, you sell support ads. We sold support ads across the bottom at $37.50 per business to say that they wanted to honor these military people. The next year we went back to do it again and asked for more photos, but since the ones we got were still good, they have been in the service at some point, we were able to add to those pages. The next year we got more photos and added to the pages we already had. And this continued on and on. Last year, those pages produced for us $8,000 in revenue. They just reported this year it did $9,300 in revenue. And we'll put the files back away, and next year we'll do it again, and we'll have a base for, I think, an even larger number of dollars. But more important, I think there are 7 pages this year of pictures of people from our area who have served in everything from World War II up through the current conflicts we're in today. And those individuals and their families feel very delighted that they're being honored. And now some of the businessmen are coming back and buying display advertising outside of that section, featuring their employees specifically. I had one of the banks email me a couple of days ago, the account that I still continue to handle, said, "You've got the ad from last year. All we have to do is update this information and run it again." So we ran it again. But it's a very timely piece. Of course, now Veterans Day is coming up this next Wednesday, so it's too late for this year, but it's not too late to start acquiring those photos so that you can do it next year.
And you said there were seven pictures across. Is that how many would you put on a page?
I think they put about 40 pictures on a page.
Okay.
So how that breaks down, I'm not going to tell you. I haven't got samples of it here with me. I wish I did.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to see what it looks like, my creative department is putting the current one together now. Drop me an email, pww@iowainformation.com, and I'll send you a PDF of the finished package.
Awesome. And what was that? It was WW?
PWW, Peter William Wagner, PWW@Iowa, the state, information, like when you call the telephone company.com.
Okay. Great idea. Any questions? Okay. Is anybody else doing a special section for Veterans Day?
Dennis, I have a local gentleman who has compiled a list of all the veterans buried in our local cemetery all the way back to the Civil War. And I've been printing them in the paper because he's trying to reach out to families that may have people buried there that are in unmarked graves so he can get a more complete list. And I need to take a look at doing the sponsorship to monetize it. But the benefit that I've seen so far in doing that, this will be my second year, is just the increased newsstand sales that everybody wants that list.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. In our community, the oldest burial site in our cemetery doesn't have anybody in it. It's a gentleman who died in the Civil War and was buried in one of the mass graves of the Civil War. And when our community was established after the Civil War, the wife put a tombstone out on the grave site that doesn't have anybody in it to memorialize that particular individual. So they make a big deal all the time when they do studies of the cemetery or tours of the cemetery. There's nobody there.
One of the things that, and I didn't come up with this idea, all I did was answer the phone. The Daughters of the American Revolution a few years ago bought some full page ads for the 50th commemoration of the Vietnam War and listed all the local veterans who had served in Vietnam. And for your veterans pages, you know, asking the DAR to sponsor it is maybe not a bad idea.
Love
Good
that.
idea. I'll give you one more since I've got the attention of the audience. And neither of these are on the program we're doing later. The 4th of July weekend, we do a thing called 13 for Freedom. And actually what it is a tabloid section. The cover is one page, so that's lost. And we sell one full page ad. And then the rest of the pages, we have half page ads on every single one of those pages. And those half page ads are from local businesses who make it a point of saying that during the time that we're celebrating the 4th of July, let's take time also to recognize the employees of our business that are working to make sure that we have economic and social freedom because of what they're manufacturing or the fact that they're helping to support the economy of our nation. And so the 13 are the 13 individual advertisers, 12 halves and one full. And then the cover, that's a 12-page tabloid. The entire tabloid is advertising. There's no editorial in it. So it's a very high income product for us. And it also comes on a weekend that normally ROP advertising is fairly low, the 4th of July.
Peter, you said one full page ad, the rest are half pages. So how many total pages is your tab?
It's 12 pages. And you've got the back page is a full page, the front page is the cover, and then you'll have enough inside pages to take care of the, no, it's 8 pages, excuse me. The other pages are all half pages then. So it comes out to a nice, neat, clean 8-page tabloid.
Okay, thank you.
Very, very good idea, especially around July 4th, because you don't have a lot going on advertising wise. Okay, more ideas.
Yeah, Dennis, I'd say we've got about 10 minutes left and we got a lot of money on the table.
I know it. I know it. $250, the top prize, huh?
That's right. Gift card, tax-free.
Well, this is Paul again, another idea, and I shared this last year at ArkLaMiss, and it has grown even more since last year, is our Coupon for Coupons program. We run a coupon in our classified section every week. If you buy a paper, well, let me back up. We were having trouble with a lot of theft of coupons at our vendors. People would just walk up, grab the coupons out of the paper, stick them in their pocket, walk out the door, and then somebody would buy the paper and come here and scream and cuss at us because there were no coupons in it. And so we started the Coupon for Coupons program. And basically we have the coupon in the classified section. You buy a paper at full price, you clip out the coupon, you can come to our office and buy as many papers with the coupons in it for half price. That way it still counts as paid circulation. You have to buy a minimum of 10, cash or checks only, no credit cards. So that way we don't have the credit card processing charges. And what we have seen is, especially with the Procter & Gamble coupons, we have seen just tons of them fly out of our office. Theft has basically bottomed out. These guys who sell coupons, on the Facebook group pages and stuff have basically gone away in our community. And so we're kind of the exclusive coupon thing. And it's a nice little kiss. There's no rhyme or reason. We know that Tide coupons and game coupons do really well here, but sometimes the women will decide that they need to get stuff for their men. So all of a sudden the body wash coupons come in, but it's been steady, and it's increased our single copy sales by an average of about 250 a week. So it's a good little kiss.
Is there a maximum number they can purchase?
However many we have.
You said that was 250 per week?
Per week, on average. If they don't have good coupons, we don't do that well that week.
All right. Any questions for Paul? Okay. Any other ideas?
I got one.
Go, Mike.
We do this each year, and it's been pretty successful. But I start running an ad in the paper for a buy one get one, and if somebody wants to purchase a subscription, they can give away half of that subscription to somebody else. And for instance, if they buy a year subscription, they can gift a 6-month subscription to somebody else. It's not limited just to non-subscribers, but that's the target of it. But if somebody calls in and says, hey, if I pay for a year, can I give my friend over here a Christmas gift for 6 months? And I just let them have it. And I've got sticky notes all across my computer already waiting to credit all these people this year. And we just started running this just a couple of days ago. So it works out good for us.
And you do it every year, same time of the year?
Usually started after Thanksgiving, but this year we started it right at the very beginning of November. And I've probably had at least 10 or 12 come through in the last 4 or 5 days. So I'm getting an extra jump on it this year.
And you said normally you do it at Black Friday. Is anyone doing any special sales for Thanksgiving or Black Friday?
Sometimes I'll run an internet special on that Monday afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, since we're trying to crank everything up early, that's why I'm starting to run my ads early this year. And of course, next week's Friday 13th, so we'll have an ad that's good for those hours during the Friday 13th day only.
And what would the special be on Friday the 13th? Would it?
13.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
It does fairly good. So a lot of people wait till that comes out, and I'm usually trying to convince them, don't wait. If you get it now, do 4 for $3 or something special for them. Just go ahead and get it. But some of them just love those 13/13s, and they'll subscribe during the next 3 months, and some keep on, some don't.
Very good. Any questions for Mike? And Mike, I know Lane sent out a little message, but you're with Columbus, Mississippi?
Yes, commercial dispatch.
Okay.
And of course, I steal your idea of here for Christmas, but you already know that one.
Yeah. Well, that's an oldie but a goodie.
I do that in the middle of the year too for the people who have quit. Just as a little letter, we appreciate your past, and we give them a little offer. Kind of helps during the middle of the year too.
Is there any theme to that?
Well, this year it was, of course, COVID, but usually it's just we'd like to have you back theme. We appreciate your past patronage, and here's a great offer for you to, come on back.
Okay.
Dennis, don't be shy about revisiting an old idea. We've got a lot of first-time attendees in the room today.
Oh, okay. Well, since Mike brought it up, Mike, you want to talk about the Christmas card idea and your experience with it?
Yeah, I get a really great return. I usually send anywhere from 400 to 800 letters out just before Christmas, to non-subscribers that have quit over the past year, and give them an offer to come back. And I think we had about a 12% return for the most part, up to 16. I'm not unhappy with that.
That's a 12% return on all of them, or?
Yeah, the highest I've had is like 16 or 17%.
Yeah.
But it usually stays up above 10 with these. and that's pretty good return on letters going out for me anyways.
And is that just a letter, or is there anything else that goes with it?
No, I just sent a letter personalized and it's signed by Peter, and me.
Okay. That's a good time of the year to reach out to your former customers.
I'm probably going to include this buy one, give one this year, since it seems to be going over pretty good.
The only thing that I would add to that with what I do is I do a Christmas card, and I put a gift coupon inside the Christmas card for a month free. So but my numbers are very similar to yours, so maybe I'm spending too much money on it.
You get a subscriber at these costs, so that's cheap. Whole
Yeah.
lot cheaper than telemarketing and everything else you try to do.
Very true. More ideas? We're coming up to the end here.
Last call.
I'll jump in here real quick. There was this Michael Schuver. I'm with a family-owned group of newspapers in the Midwest and Southeast. We have always pushed in a lot of our markets, we call them generic sheriff calendars. I think I've mentioned them before, where you sell sponsorships on an annual calendar, a tear-off calendar type thing, and then you print this big wall hanging, and then the sheriff's department, and we give them a kickback and all that sort of thing. It's been very successful for us, but one thing that we've discovered, and this is kind of one of these COVID aspects that we didn't anticipate, a lot of these I call them boiler room operations. If you've got a calendar in your market where they came in and dealt with the school district or whatever and had the football team and cheerleader team and all that sort of thing. And then they, over the phone, sold these sponsorships of that thing, and the money all left your community. I mean, nothing wrong with the product they ultimately produced, but they didn't produce very many of them. I think we've discovered that a lot of those folks, probably because of COVID, just did not get it done this year, just with the problem with high school athletics and questions about whether they're actually going to do it. So it's stressing to our folks, be alert and talk to your school districts. If they, once you let somebody like that in your market, it's kind of hard to get them out. Well, I think COVID has maybe taken them out, and we may have an opportunity at our locally operated newspapers to recapture some revenue that had slipped away over the years. I just encourage everybody to just be alert. Chances are those kind of out of town sales things did not work in your market this year. And if not, put a plan together to get in front of them next year and recoup that revenue. Just a thought.
Very good. Any questions for Michael? Okay. Thank you, Michael. That's a good point. Take a look at those opportunities that maybe have passed us by, and go back after them, especially with the calendar. I like that idea too. Well, any more ideas? We got time for one more, Lane?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We got one more? Well, if we don't.
Well, Dennis, thank you again so much for capably steering us through an excellent discussion of ideas. You've been, like I said at the start, you've been a long time friend to this meeting, and we are so grateful to you for your contributions each year. So thanks again for being with us. And we hope you, if you can, you'll stay with us till the end. It is coming up on 10:05 Central Time, and we're going to take about a 10-minute recess for coffee refills and pit stops, and we will be back at 15 minutes past the hour with our grand finale with Peter Wagner. So stay tuned.